As you go out Christmas shopping for the hottest deals, waiting in line, decorate your Christmas tree, and bake your favorite cookies, do you ever stop and reflect how lucky you are and maybe think you might be overdoing Christmas? Well, the people of Sudan, Africa are exchanging blankets and baked goods, cookies and cakes. Those are the gifts that are exchanged. Christmas is a time of joy and prayer with family and friends for the 1.5 million Christians living in Sudan. Trees are decorated with lights and ornaments, and Christmas music is sung on Christmas Eve at midnight until dawn. On Christmas Day, there's a feast with turkey, pigeons, and they slaughter bulls and goats. Now remember that when you sit down for your lovely ham dinner on Christmas night. I'm going to tell you briefly about the dramatic difference in lifestyle of the people in Sudan, Africa. Starting with the people, they're the most diverse population on the African continent. Two distinct cultures, Arab and African American. 30 million live in the northern region, 8 million live in the south. Now, conflict has severely affected the population of the South, resulting in over 2 million deaths and more than 4 million people displaced. Now, many people are very familiar with what some called the genocide of Darfur, but that's a whole nother speech. As far as religion, Christianity is prominent in the South, Islam is prominent in the North. Now, with Islam, God is number one. Nothing comes between them and God. Some of the rules the women have to follow, they're not allowed to show any part of their body except their hands, face, and feet, except to their husband or brother, uncle, or someone, in the family member, in the family. So that's totally different than here in the United States. Now, it's always important to respect another culture and their beliefs, especially on their turf. So now I'd like to cover some of the important customs for Americans to consider when visiting Sudan. Customs upon two men meeting each other is to shake hands and touch each other on the shoulder at the same time. Women use hugs and cheek pressing when they meet with their friends. Cheek rubbing, I guess is what they call it. Now, it's custom to eat dinner around 9:30 p.m. and it's considered bad taste to inquire about the Sudanese host wife, so that's something you always want to avoid. And it's not uncommon for the women to eat on the other side of the room as the men. Here in America, people prefer to eat with their significant other. An interesting custom that I found out was the Zar custom. It takes place when a Sudanese man or woman, usually a woman, feels that she has been possessed by an evil spirit. Her friends get together and they hire an exorcist. The exorcist then comes to the family and performs a rite of exorcism. There's generally a high feeling and great excitement during this event. It's important to remember to the Sudanese ladies the possibility of possession and the rite of exorcism are very real. So what we see in the movies is real to them over there in Africa. Also, time is money in America. In Sudan, sometimes lateness is related to social status. Important people are expected to be late while everyone else waits for them. As with respect, it's extremely important that Sudanese women dress properly. This includes no halter tops, no mini skirts, no shorts. These are offensive to the Sudanese and could result in insult to the Western woman who is foolish enough to flaunt the Sudanese moral and religious customs. It's rude for a guest, also particularly a Western man, to point the soles of his feet at an Arab. Also, when one beckons, one does not do so in the American fashion by crooking one's finger at a guest. This is considered grossly disrespectful. Instead, one extends the hand, palm downwards, and motions towards oneself. Now, there's really not enough time for me to tell you all the interesting facts I've learned about this fascinating culture, so let's wrap it up. We can reflect and learn from the people in Sudan. Sometimes just spending time with one another is really what matters for Christmas. We don't have to compete to buy the most expensive gifts or push others in line at the store. Maybe we could just bake them a cake or bring them some cookies. Christmas can be simple, and the Sudanese prove this. If you ever get a chance to travel to Africa and visit Sudan, you now have an idea of kind of what you can expect. We may never agree or understand why a culture outside our own lives the way they do. Having an understanding that one's lifestyle and custom is essential when interacting with one another.